The Buffalo Bills swiftly cook the Chiefs 31-20 in Orchard Park to end the Chiefs' perfect season and to bring the Bills to 9-2 before the bye. We are going to recap this entire victory edition of Circling the Wagons. Let's go!
To my friend Nate and all the listeners of this podcast, no one circles the wagons than Nate Escape. Circle the wagons, Buffalo.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Hey, let's go Buffalo. Hey, let's go Buffalo.
The Bills make me wanna.
Hey, what's up, Bills Mafia? Welcome to this victory recap edition of the Buffalo Bills beating the Chiefs 30-20 at 4:30 p.m. tonight in Orchard Park. What a great win this was. We are going to talk about the entire thing. We are going to talk about the stats of the game, general thoughts on the game, our sweet, sassy, molassy plays of the game, our wall of fame and wall of shame, and some help from our followers on Twitter. We're going to give some hot takes there, and we're also going to do our first giveaway of the 2024 Bills season. We have a signed Daryl Talley jersey. If you're watching this for the first time and you're like, oh, geez, I didn't know you guys were giving away for a jersey. Well, fear not. I think we're going to have some fun giveaways every week after this, which I'm going to share with you guys. But first, I'd like to welcome my co-hosts, John and Mike, to the podcast. John, I'll start with you. How are you feeling after this Bills victory over the Kansas City Chiefs?
Feeling pretty good. I don't think I had any expectations with this game. I was pretty confident heading into it. I thought they were going to win. But even if they didn't, I didn't think it was a big deal. This was a very odd game for me coming into it. But they looked great. I loved it. Great game.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like I was in the same mindset with you. I was prepared just in case we lost mentally and emotionally. I'm like, okay, it's okay if they lose because what really matters is the playoffs. But beating them is it's just so sweet. It's so sweet to always beat the Chiefs. And then especially when the refs are kind of against you with some of the calls and it's at home and your defense isn't nearly as injury riddled as it was the last time you played them in the playoffs. So it felt good. Mike, the victory, man.
John must be feeling good. Bro, you forgot your mask. You're just raw dogging life after that Bills win. Gosh, I agree with both of you. Like, it was the game of the year so far. But is that the fourth straight regular season meeting that the Bills have won? Right? Like, love it, but I want to see it happen in the playoffs. But all the sweeter because they were undefeated, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because they ended not only their undefeated, you knew the rest of the NFL wanted the Bills to win this one. Not that you care what other NFL fans think, but you know that everyone was like, come on, like they just get so lucky. Like this is unfair. Like this is crazy. And the Bills showed up. The Bills were the Black Knight, right? Or the White Knight. Like I'll be your White Knight, right? And they showed up and they saved. I think almost everyone besides the folks over in Kansas City were Bills fans tonight, for sure. For sure. So
I feel like Kansas City, like salty too, right? Like if they win, it's like, oh, Bills suck. We own you. And when the Bills win, it's like, oh, that's your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like,
pisses me off no matter what, right? Like, they're right. It kind of is, but still. No, it's I still maintain, by the way, that the Bills would have won last year in the playoffs if they hadn't been out like 4 or 5 starters on defense. Like it was just they lost 27-24 in the playoffs. And if they had Milano, Bernard, Benford, like any of these guys,
it was
like
back and forth. Like the lead changed like 4 times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they brought AJ Klein off the street to cover Travis Kelce. Like what are you gonna do?
Yeah, Travis Kelce had a quiet game too for him.
Yeah,
for sure. The Bills figured out defensively. Let's talk about the Bills defense. I know the offense and Josh Allen is a great storyline, and we're going to get into it. But how good was the Bills defense today, limiting the Chiefs whenever they can? Especially we mentioned Travis Kelce. The Bills had a greater time of possession than the Chiefs did. The Bills had more total yards than the Chiefs did. 366 yards for the Bills on offense, only 259 for the Chiefs on offense. You know, this thing had been going around about the Chiefs not being that good and that it was really the defense that was holding them up and they were getting lucky. And I think the Bills kind of put that to the test tonight. And in that victory, they showed that like the Bills offense is still good even against an elite Kansas City Chiefs defense. And the Bills defense stepped up tremendously and for the most part, stopped a Kansas City Chiefs team that's lacking a lot of weapons. Rashee Rice is on IR. A lot of other good players are injured, but the Bills took advantage of it.
Kansas City, right, you could argue, we agree it's Mahomes and Allen are the best quarterbacks in the league, right? So they have the face of the NFL and they have Andy Reid and they have the pedigree having won the last couple of Super Bowls, but the first 9 games, like they're not a super team. They're not, right? Like, and they won, I think it's combined by 58 points over 9 games, was nothing. And 4 came down to the final play. So it's the wins losses sounds impressive, but they're not every game, every team that they play, they're not blowing teams out. It's so close every week.
Yeah, it feels like they're either winning by a penalty or some sort of blocked field goal or some ridiculous, very lucky. I mean, give them credit. I mean, they were 9-0. They earned it, but it wasn't like a blowing out like 2010 Patriots or whatever it was where they, went undefeated in the regular season. It was not that kind of team built. I got to read this real quick. Our guy Charles Burns says, side note, the Black Knight was Richard the Lionhearted in disguise as he returned to England from the Crusades. So a good reference. Yeah. Thank you, Charles. That was a great reference. That's originally what I meant. And I didn't mean Black Knight or White Knight. I meant Black Knight. So thank you. Hey, if the Bills win,
I don't know if that's right.
There's just a flesh wound, right?
I'm getting better.
Is he a historian?
Charles Byrne might be a professor in history, medieval history, over at like the University of what's a prestigious Cornell? Nah, not Cornell. Like something better, probably like Yale.
if he's talking King of England, hopefully it's Oxford.
He's actually from the UK. Charles lives in the UK. If you didn't know that, so yeah, no, that's funny. Speaking of misinformation. Like, I like how you're just like, he's not right. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a guy on Twitter who posted some stat out of his backside where it was like, Jared Goff is like 6-0 for every game he's thrown 5 interceptions or more or something. And then Aaron Rodgers quoted it on the Pat McAfee show. And the guy responded, he's like, yeah, I totally just made up that stat in my bed one night. And it just took off. Like, it's not true at all. And it was like, he's only had like 2 games that he threw 5 interceptions or more in his entire career. So he couldn't have gone 6-0. It's just funny. That's how misinformation.
Well, 72% of all statistics are made up.
Who is that made that comment? That's props. That's a pretty deep cut, I would say.
Charles Byrne?
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Charles, man. Charles had some nice things. He messaged me over the weekend. It was just like, I like you guys' podcast. It's different than all the rest of them. Thank you, Charles. Yeah, it is in different ways, good ways, mostly, but yeah, a little bit different. It's like talking with your friends. I figure since he's using this analogy that his friends are really smart, and that makes me feel better. So he's just like, yeah, me and my doofus friends. It's like, true. So anyway, we're going to go into what are some other thoughts on this game as far as like Josh Allen's play. I thought the run game got going pretty well. I didn't like their runs on first down. Like it seemed like they just ran into the pile, but for some reason they just were able to set up second down and third down and make first downs consistently throughout the game, which is crazy because I didn't think they'd be able to do that. But Joe Brady just set up a good enough game plan, and they were without Keon Coleman. Khalil Shakir went down for a minute. Spencer Brown, their right tackle, was out, which I called, by the way. Breaking news, source confirmed. Shout out to my source, which I cannot name, but he or she is a listener to the podcast, so shout out to that source. Keep those sources coming, the good ones at least. So, yeah, it's...
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Well, you got to follow us on Twitter at CTW Pod, and you'll see that we leaked that the Spencer Brown was going to be inactive a day before he was actually inactive. So yeah.
So who's the source? Spencer Brown?
I can't tell you. It's a close source to the team. I will say that. I will say that.
I don't know what you're talking about either, but I just assumed Spencer Brown wasn't going to play. So
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to risk my entire source on something that wouldn't, was probably 80% going to happen.
I think most people just assumed he wasn't going to play, and Cooper
Yeah.
was.
Should I just like source everything, even if like the person I'm talking to doesn't source it? Just like things that are obvious, right?
I don't even know if you're using the word correctly.
Sourcing it?
Are you using it as a noun or a verb? Or
I'm a,
like you have a source
yes, but
who
he
provides you with
he or she
information.
sources things for me. And it's definitely not the guy I was talking about last week, Jay. It's not that guy.
Are you your own source or?
You know what's funny is I was thinking about the Spencer Brown thing. He literally didn't practice all week, and then he was limited on Friday, and that's the only practice report. It's like, it's probably not going to happen. I'll break this one. I feel like I should be breaking. And it's funny because one of the other podcasters, or that we talk to, or that I talk to, and have a good relationship. He's like, "Did you get your source from a player?" I'm like, "Nope." But then in my head, like, let's say it's not this, but let's say it was like the equipment manager for the Bills, right? Like that's a better source than, let's say, Connor McGovern, right? So if you text Connor McGovern and he's like, "Is Spencer Brown playing on Friday?" He might be like, "I can't really say." I talked to the equipment guy and I say, "I'm not going to say your name." He's going to tell me anything, He's going to tell me the jock size of Connor McGovern or Spencer Brown, like, right? Like he's going to tell me anything. So
That's you have that access, and that's what you're going to ask.
I'm just saying he would, because there's no like there's politics involved with a player giving away information, but there's not with like someone that just works for the team, right?
So
I feel like there is, because you'd be worried about your job.
That's true. That's true, unless you trusted me, which I think.
Why would they do that?
That is also a good question. You have no idea the kind of character. I will throw anyone under the bus. If I could get rid of Mike and John and get an upgrade. I'm like Sean McDermott. I always have like an assistant coach picked out just in case you guys leave via free agency or I end up having to cut you. Anyway, back to
Kincaid too. We'll get him back.
Yes. Yeah. Good point, Mike. Good point. I thought Knox. Hey, shout out to Knox. He's not going to make my Wall of Fame, but I thought Knox had a great game considering all he was dealing with. He did get poked in the eye that one play as well. All right. So let's go into stats of the game. All right. Let's start with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, 27 for 40, 262 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And if it wasn't for that 1 interception, I mean, he might have had a damn near perfect game. It was just like, I don't know if it was Dawson Knox stopping on his route or Josh just sailed it a little too far, but that was just a bad interception. But if that's the only thing you can say, because Josh Allen was the leading rusher for the Bills, 12 attempts, 55 yards, and 1 touchdown, including the longest play of the game, that 26-yard touchdown to seal it. I thought there was just a few passes and that interception, but overall, like a really good game by Josh Allen. How'd you guys see it?
Yeah, absolutely. He just put the team on his back. We'll get to it, but for me, it comes down to the last drive. Everybody knew what the Bills were trying to do, and he still was able to put the cape on and go to work, right? Like, team lives and dies with him.
Josh is great.
Put the cape on like a Black Knight would when trying to win. Yeah, so you have two opposite sides of the spectrum, right? You have Josh Allen running down the field, putting the go-ahead score, putting up the go-ahead score to win the game, putting the team on his back. And then you have Patrick Mahomes, which is unlikely. If you looked at like the ESPN win probability after that, I was checking it out just to make sure I didn't think that there was a chance the Chiefs could really win. And it was like 99% for the Bills. But still, when the game was on the line for the Chiefs and the Bills are on defense, Mahomes throws an interception. Now, I'm not saying that Josh Allen is better than Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying, but he should absolutely be in the MVP conversation. And today he was the better quarterback for sure. I mean, if you're watching this game and you didn't know that Patrick Mahomes had won 3 Super Bowls, I mean, and you're just a normal NFL fan or whatever, like you walk away from this game thinking, I want Josh Allen as my quarterback. I don't want Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback. So I thought he had a tremendous game. Absolutely tremendous.
Mahomes on the season, I think, has almost as many interceptions as touchdowns, right? If we're talking MVP, I think we're more concerned about Lamar Jackson.
No, we are. I'm just saying the difference between the two is pretty stark. So yeah, you're right. MVP conversation aside, you're right, Lamar. But even so, with Lamar's, I mean, I feel like Josh Allen is making a case for him still being the MVP of the league.
I agree.
And not only that, he's a better record. Isn't the record one of the biggest deciding factors for the MVP? And the Bills are 9-2, and the Ravens are what 8-7-4. I want to say.
Yeah.
So,
Even though it shouldn't be, it should be based on if this player wasn't available, like how bad would that team be? And I think the Bills would be really bad without Josh Allen compared to like a team like the Ravens or the Chiefs.
so I agree with you, John. But I think I mentioned earlier, like we gotta give props to the defense. I think the defense played outstanding today against the Chiefs, right? So agree that the Bills would, with anyone else but Josh Allen, would not be nearly as good. But at the same time, the defense looked really good tonight against Patrick Mahomes. Sure, there were some plays like they got lucky with that Xavier Worthy play where he's wide open and he got out of bounds without dragging the second foot, right? But I thought the Bills defense looked really stout.
Yeah.
Even in the run game, I thought they did pretty well.
Yeah, McDermott and Babich, love it.
Yeah,
100%.
and really, we've talked about it before, but coming out of the half, they really were able to make adjustments and stop the Chiefs too. But just to go back to your point about the disparity might be too strong of a word, but the difference, like that won't show up in their, their yards, their touchdowns, but the sacks that they take, like Allen, surprisingly, I would say, given the Chiefs' defensive line, like didn't take a sack, whereas Mahomes had too. Like it really can change the complexion of the game.
Yeah, definitely. That's actually spoiler, one of the parts of my Wall of Fame. So yeah, I'm gonna put a few people. I'm gonna pull a John. I'm gonna put a few folks on the Wall of Fame today. One major one, but a few other folks, including that. So yeah, great win. Koala Bear Khan says yes, great win by the Bills. Absolutely. I love when I put up comments, it goes over Mike's face. So maybe in the future, depending on if he's like trashing me or something, I'll just put up someone's comment. Even from earlier, the first comment of it does nothing to do with what we're talking about. Just put it up over. Yeah. Anyway, Mike. so yeah, let's other stats of the game for the Bills. James Cook. It's funny. I thought James Cook had a great game. Only 9 carries for 20 yards, but 2 touchdowns, right? So he cooked when it mattered, right? Leading receiver for the Buffalo Bills, Khalil Shakir, 8 receptions on 12 targets for 70 yards. He looked tremendous. Second leading receiver. Guess who it is, guys, if you had to guess? Second leading receiver for the Buffalo Bills. Johnny, you don't have the stats up, do you?
No,
Curtis Samuel.
Good guess. John?
agree.
It is Curtis Samuel.
I'd say Samuel, yeah.
Dude, he'd done nothing all year, and all I could think of was Wedding Crashers. Like, you sandbagging son of a bitch.
Samuel. Curtis Samuel, you sandbagging son of a bitch. I love it.
But he came to play when it mattered.
Oh, I know. Get that great touchdown. It makes me think more and more why they don't have him on the field more often. And I think part of it is really that I think it was an injury thing. And maybe it just needed, he was injured. Maybe it was nuanced to the offense. I don't know, but it was good to see him out there.
You don't think it's that Coleman and Kincaid, like, there's so many weapons, let everybody eat, limits his time?
No, because I always thought he should have gotten more play than Mac Hollins. I agree with Keon Coleman.
I think they weren't using him as a receiver until they needed to because of injuries.
And they were, compensated handsomely.
Yeah, they were like, oh, we'll use him as a gadget guy and not do anything. And then Coleman got hurt, Kincaid got hurt, and even like previous games where Cooper was out and like they'd use him a little bit more last week, I think they had to use him as a receiver. And it's like, oh, I guess he can play receiver. Well, he's always been able to play receiver for bad quarterbacks even. So I'm glad that that's finally come to fruition.
Yeah, for sure. It just makes me even more excited about how deep this Bills team can be, like especially with Amari Cooper, hopefully coming back after the bye week from, getting rid of that bandage. He was the third leading receiver for the Bills today, 2 receptions on 3 targets for 55 yards. It's not going to make my sweet sassy molassie play the game, but definitely an honorable mention was that one-handed catch that he had in the first quarter. That was tremendous. I love to see that. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just agreeing. You're
Okay.
good.
Nice. No, continue. What were you going to say?
I mean, I guess they did try to come back to him a play or two later on the same type of play, but he could come down with it. But no, I agree. Good.
The coverage was a lot tighter on that second one, I thought.
Agree.
Nothing that he could have.
You're right. That's why I wasn't going to message it until I felt like I had to. But
against a really good Chiefs secondary, like they're just outstanding. Mac Hollins or Dawson Knox was the next leading receiver, 4 receptions on 6 targets for 40 yards. Mac Hollins, 2 receptions on 2 targets for 27 yards. And that's about it. That's about it. On the Chiefs side of the ball, I'll go through this real quick. Patrick Mahomes, 23 for 33, 196 yards. It always feels weird when I see a 1 in front of the yardage for Patrick Mahomes. It just seems like that's how good the Bills defense was today. They kept Patrick Mahomes under 200 yards in a game where the Chiefs were never up. I don't think they were ever up. So
I think 14-13.
Oh yeah, 14-13. You're right. In the second quarter, they were up 14-13.
Why wouldn't they show the extra point miss?
They did.
I thought it might have been good.
They did show it.
I want to see it from underneath. I want a camera like straight up.
Yeah. I want to see the real, the point of view from the referees.
The only reason it wasn't a controversy is because it was so early in the game. Did you think it was blatantly a miss? I thought it was right over. It
was hard to see. I did think it was a miss, but then other folks on social media did think the same thing as you, Mike. So you're not the only one.
Why can't you make it higher?
I don't know. Make it as high as the stadium. Who gives a shit?
Like a space elevator, just as high as the stadium. I don't know.
Make them just lasers instead of actual posts. So
if it breaks definitely.
Yeah. So,
but then maybe it was a miss, but show that camera angle.
Yeah, show exactly. They need one that goes literally right up the goalpost that you see, not in the middle. I don't want to see the middle. I want to see up each goalpost. Like I'm looking up the pant legs of the field goal post. I want to make sure I'm seeing what I'm seeing. A little too much, a little too far. I always got to take it too far. Anyway.
One step. Always one step.
Patrick Mahomes, 23 for 33, 196 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Kareem Hunt, the leading running back for the Chiefs, 14 carries for 60 yards. Xavier Worthy, the leading receiver for the Chiefs, 4 receptions on 5 targets for 61 yards, had that 1 touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins, I thought he was going to be a bigger part of the game. The Bills just locked him down so well. Or it could be age. It's hard to tell. The Bills did play him earlier in the season when he was with the Titans, so I'm sure that helped. 3 receptions on 4 targets for 29 yards. One thing that you could say for the Chiefs is Noah Gray looks good, man. He had 2 touchdowns tonight for the Chiefs. I don't know if there's ever a succession plan for Travis Kelce after this season, but I mean, he might be in the running. I think it's going to be very hard to find a tight end that's as good as Travis Kelce, but good. All right. So those were stats of the game. I want to get some deep cut stats, though. Hold on. I'll give you some deep cut stats. Samuel is the 11th Bill to catch a touchdown this season, which marks the most in the NFL, the most players on the team to score a touchdown. Von Miller notched his sack on 3rd down. He now only trails Ricky Jackson by half a sack for number 16 on the NFL's all-time sack list. James Cook had his 10th touchdown this season, becoming the first Bills running back to run for 10-plus touchdowns since LaShawn McCoy in 2016. That's crazy. That's crazy. He has 10 touchdowns this season, and we're what? We still have 9 to 11 games. We still have 6 games left. Crazy. Terrell Bernard had his first sack of the season, the one that forced the Chiefs' 3rd down punt. So, yeah, lots of great stuff. Oh, Joey Hatch says Josh Allen ties O.J. Simpson for touchdowns. Did he beat him? Or did he tie him, John? Or did he beat him? I feel like Josh Allen's 26-yard touchdown, as long as touchdown. Oh, the most total. He's tied Jim Kelly for the most total TDs and surpassed O.J. Simpson for 2nd most rushing touchdowns with 58 in team history. So he just barely got past him. Joey Hatch says, yeah, they tried to show. By the way, if you guys are joining us in the live chat, I'm showing some of these comments as they come along. But yeah, here's one. Joey Hatch says, yeah, they tried to show us what we gave them and they drafted why they drafted Worthy. It would have been nice to have Coleman tonight so he could have displayed himself too. Yeah, it definitely felt like they were trying to force it to say, hey, this is why we have them. See what you gave us, like kind of like shoving it in our face. I don't like that. So, all right, those were stats of the game. And now we're going to go into Sweet Sassy Molassy plays of the game. So, Mike, I'll start with you on this one, and I'll get John when he can come back to the camera. So, Mike, who do you have on your Sweet Sassy Molassy, or as your Sweet Sassy Molassy play of the game?
Hey, it's the Allen touchdown run to seal the game. That's the play of the year in the NFL.
That is. I mean, it would feel weird to even acknowledge another play almost because of how important that play was. It was a play of the year, play of the season, play of the team, play of the franchise. Let's just keep going. Yeah, agreed. Mike, if you had, Jay, or wait, no, that's not his name. Ray, the guy who I know personally, texted me and said, Sweet Sassy Molassy play the game. Allen's incredible 4th and 2 touchdown run to seal it. Honorable mention was incredible contested catch in sustaining the hit and not dropping the ball by Shakir on 3rd and 9 to keep that drive alive. I love it. I, by the way, if you guys are watching the stream live and you want to include any of your Sweet Sassy Molassy plays of the game before I give any of mine, feel free to do so. Koala Bear Khan is in. They say the 3rd down catch for Shakir to get us the first down for the eventual Allen TD was key. Absolutely. That was huge. I actually had that as one of my Sweet Sassy Molassy plays of the game before, and that was absolutely huge. So agreed there on that one. There were some, I'm going to give honorable mentions to a few different plays. There was an Ed Oliver big stop on 3rd and 1 in the 3rd quarter. That was huge. It didn't end up, getting the Bills to score any points in the ensuing drive after, but that was huge. Curtis Samuel had a 12-yard touchdown when there was like an all-out blitz on Josh Allen. And just the throw by Josh Allen when it was just like he just threw it up there, and the Chiefs were bringing the house. They brought at least 7 or 8 rushers. And that was just an amazing pass by Allen. I mean, we talked about the run to seal the game, which was incredible. I mean, what another spectacular pass by Allen. Even after it looked like he injured his right wrist a little bit after that play, he was still coming out and throwing bullets. So luckily it didn't impact him that much. John, we just did Sweet Sassy Molassy plays the game. We called the Josh Allen touchdown run as it. Do you have that one or any other ones that you'd like to add to it?
Nope, that's it for me. That was awesome. Good call to go for it. And I feel like they wanted to have him run it to get the first down the whole way, and he just kept going and got the touchdown. So
I was gonna say I almost forgot that was on 4th down. Great call, John. Jeez, it was on 4th down to put the Bills up 30-21. I mean, obviously the Bernard INT to end the game was great. That was a great play. The Taylor Rapp's interception at the beginning of the game on the first drive by the Chiefs, where Mahomes was getting pressured by Daquan Jones and he tossed one up and Taylor Rapp intercepted it for sure. Bernard, we mentioned, had his first sack of the season. That sack on Mahomes forced the 4th down play. That was a great. We mentioned the Bills defense, and I think you mentioned Babich, John, and McDermott. Babich and McDermott deserve a ton of credit for this. So let's go into Wall of Fame and Wall of Shame. John, I'll start with you this time. Who do you put on your Wall of Fame? Who or what, or how many who's or whats do you put on it?
I feel like this is like a Christmas show. How many who's it's and the Grinch? No, I would say the pass rush. They got a couple of sacks, but I think Mahomes had a lot of pressures today. Affected things quite a bit.
So you have the pass rush, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. A good one.
Pass rush, I would say, and I don't know if you guys noticed, Von Miller. Amazing off the line. But if he doesn't get there in 3.5 seconds, he's just jogging. And it makes me insane. Like Mahomes is still dancing around back there behind the line. And Von Miller is literally jogging is too generous. Like, did you guys notice that?
Yeah, I did notice that. Mike,
I feel like that's an incredible blight on the defense. I mean, it's on one guy. Like tremendous speed off the line. I'd like to see him move outside, dip the shoulder. Like he's got all these moves.
Yeah, he got a sack today. Yeah, great. Yeah.
You disagree, John? Go back and watch some of those plays with Mahomes.
Yeah. It's Mahomes. Yeah, he's gonna have great plays and evade the rush, but
no, it's a question of effort.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I think the Bills had a good pass rush today.
Yeah, but if Vaughn doesn't get there in 3-4 seconds, he's done.
In that first move,
He gives up. Yes.
Yes.
If he gets past the quarterback and then the quarterback is still moving around, hasn't crossed over the line of scrimmage, Von Miller is again speed walking.
Oh, so you're okay. You're specifically calling out Von Miller. I was
Only Von Miller.
I was saying pass rush in general today was good.
Yeah,
for the Bills. They got pressure on Mahomes.
With the asterisks. For me, I love the pass rush. Love everything about it except fourth quarter Von Miller not being able to chase Mahomes at all.
Yeah, Mike, now that you mention it, I didn't write that down in my notes, but that was something I did notice too.
Wait, you guys take notes?
Dude, I am so bad at remembering anything. The fact that I remember we have to do a podcast is pretty impressive. So, but no, it was like Mike said, where he did a move where it wasn't even, I think, Mike, you're being generous by saying he's got a quick step off the line. Like, yeah, I mean, he's got to step off the line, and I wouldn't say it's particularly quick. I wouldn't say
I'm trying to be magnanimous. Yeah. Like, I give him the benefit of the doubt if you're putting forth the effort, but the effort is not there beyond the first move.
No, it's almost like he waits for the quarterback to like leave the pocket or to step up into the pocket before he does anything else. Right. So he gets up there. Okay. He didn't get immediately to Mahomes. Okay. I'm just going to wait here to see if he runs, but maybe that's what they were supposed to do. Maybe Tony Romo always talked about keeping the rush lanes. Last week, we talked about who the Bills play last week.
It's not the situation I saw. I know what you're saying,
where they would wait and then they'd tackle Allen as soon as he ran last week. And I was just like, oh yeah, that was a great idea. That it was different though this week. I think it's more of an effort thing. Correct, Mike. I think it was more of an effort thing. Koala Bear Khan says maybe Miller uses all of his energy in the initial burst and then he gets winded after. Dude, I've been 35, man. I know what that's like. So yeah, Mike. I can't disagree with that. I think the pass rush, to John's point, and I think you agree with this too, Mike, the pass rush overall was on my wall of fame.
For sure.
But yeah, that when you did notice it towards the end and they kept Von Miller in on that left side and you're like watching him specifically and you're like, oh, he's going up and he's just kind of trying to walk the tackle backwards.
It's like he's disengaged. There's no one blocking him and Mahomes is dancing around back there running to the sideline. And it's just no sense of urgency whatsoever.
The pursuit.
Yes.
The pursuit needs to be there for sure. For sure. Oh, geez, we haven't get to Wall of Shame. I wonder who Mike's going to put on there. I'm going to put Josh Allen, though, as my Wall of Fame. I love the pass rush. I loved what, James Cook was able to do in the red zone. I loved, what Amari Cooper did with the one. I love the defense in general. I thought they played Mahomes really well. But the pass rush, I think, was second to me, but being behind Josh Allen. Maybe it's a given that Josh Allen is on the Wall of Fame tonight with what he was able to do statistically, but yeah, the pass rush is up there too.
Maybe you put Babich on the Wall of Fame, 21 points against Mahomes, right?
That's a good one.
The turnovers, like played a good game.
He schemed that pass rush when we haven't had it. He schemed up blitzes at the right time. Yeah, Babich. Wall of Fame honorable mention to Babich. I like that one.
Bro, how about McDermott? Like going for it all.
Put McDermott on it.
Agree.
Put McDermott. Yeah, people don't give him enough credit for that. You're right. It was ballsy. The only thing that I didn't like McDermott.
Stupid
McDermott
challenge. So stupid.
It was an awful challenge.
Didn't they make such a big deal of like the Bills hiring or something too?
Yeah, and an ex-NFL ref.
Yeah.
That ref's just as blind as all the other ones. Oh, yeah, that'll definitely be overturned. You got to call that one. The guy absolutely did not even bobble the ball at any point going out of bounds. Just he had control the entire time. His feet were both clearly in. Like, it wasn't even like, might go their way. You knew it wasn't. As soon as they challenged it, you're like, this is a loss of a timeout.
And it's not even like all of us would trust Allen for Bass making a kick, but it's not that, right? It's Bass making a kick and your defense stopping Mahomes. So you're like multiplying the probabilities. So like even if Allen 4th and 2, we only get it 50% of the time, it's still probably better than, hey, we kick a field goal and give it back to Mahomes to score a touchdown and lose in heartbreaking fashion again. Like if 4th and 2, we don't get it, still love that decision. Whatever. I like that the Bills played to win the game.
John, you're 4th and go like every time. I feel like that should be your nickname, 4th and go, like no matter what. It's like 4th and 8 on your own 20. You're like, you know what? I kind of think that you're texting us in the group chat. I kind of think they should go for it right now. Like you're all for it. You've got to love, because McDermott was not this way his entire tenure as a coach. There were lots of times when he was very conservative, and to the point where you're just like, dude, you're punting from your own or from the other team's 40. It's like 4th and 3 and you're punting from their 40. What are you doing? You know, and to his credit, he has changed the way he coaches. He's grown from it. So you got to love this, Sean McDermott. I think sometimes, because you're uber aggressive, John, and the text, I feel like he's even more aggressive than you sometimes.
No, I mean, no, 90% of the time I want to go for it. It really depends though. Like the 4th down play where Josh threw the interception, before the play started or before they even offense took the field, I was like, okay, this time they should do the field goal. I know this sounds big surprise, but that's what I said. I have 3 witnesses. Although when they did take the field, as the offense is like, oh, okay. So I was like, I wasn't disappointed that they didn't kick the field goal, but that they went for it. But then, of course, they threw the pick. But no, yeah, most of the time I want them to go for it.
It also depends too how Tyler Bass is playing. So let's go into our wall of shame for this episode. I'm just going to give it down to like the first down offense. I thought the play calling was a little sus. I think that they just kind of ran it into the middle. Luckily, the play calling on 2nd and 3rd down was good enough that they overcame that a lot. Maybe that was a game plan. I don't know. Maybe they're playing 3D chess and I just can't see through it. But Mike Catalana had a good tweet. And he's just like, the Bills, gaining yardage on first down. It was like 1-0, -1, 2, 5, 0. Like they just weren't getting a whole lot done on first down offense. But then again, I'm kind of being picky on that one. I think I like Mike's Von Miller effort a little bit more, but it's hard to kind of find a wall of shame in this game. John, do you have a better one?
No, I like where you were going initially. I think Joe Brady, I think too much of the offense was telegraphed. Like, I'm sitting here on the couch saying, okay, they're going to run James Cook up the middle for 1, maybe 0 yards on this play, first down. Okay. Like, I already knew what they were going to do. And so I know they got 30 points and they did enough to win in the end, but I think it was a little too obvious what Joe Brady was doing for the Chiefs.
Mike, what about you? Who's on your wall of shame?
It's Von Miller, because I just saw play after play with no effort. I guess what I thought was funny too, like Hollins is like, Allen is running for his life to win the game. Like Hollins is just doing like the first down. Did you guys notice that? Did you see that?
Was that when sorry, say that again. I was retweeting something. I was hoping John would step in, but he's blank too. What would you just say?
I don't know what. Say again.
If like the play where Allen 4th and 2 and Allen is sealing the game, like Mac Hollins is just like, as soon as Allen gets by the first down, goes 2 yards, Hollins is just like putting his hand up, making the first down signal.
Oh, really?
As Allen is still like fighting, like hand checking, fighting for his life.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I like I said earlier, like I think that whole intent of that play was to get the first down, and like they were never gonna throw it. It was like, oh, pump fake, pump fake, pump fake. Everybody's running out, and like Allen's just gonna get the first down, but he just kept going, and that's what made it the play of the game.
Yeah, and we've just seen this game came down to the wire in so many games. Like I'd like, until the whistle blows or the guy's down, like maybe trail the play in case there's a fumble, or like the defense has gotten much, much better. We've talked about it for years, like standing somebody up, trying to punch the ball out. But with Allen scrambling, like he's not immune to fumble. Like I just, these games turn on such the most insignificant thing. Like to have somebody not paying attention at all. Like I prefer more of a unified mindset, I guess. Like, go back and watch that play. Like, you'll see him at the bottom of the screen, like, just doing the first down. In the background, Allen's like fighting for his life. I'm like, come on.
How about you block someone, Mac? Like, throw a body out there. Like, yeah, I could see that one. I did not see that live, but yeah, that would tick me off. I remember a few.
I mean,
years ago,
not taking like all in good fun because how it turned out.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah. And we like Mac Hollins. He's the vibe wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
He's always about those good vibes. The vibe on that play should have been, why don't you put your hands on someone on the other team so your quarterback's not just taking hit after hit after hit as he tries to pinball his way into the end zone. I like that. That's a good wall of shame, Mike. I didn't think of that one. Koala Bear Khan says, wall of shame. I think the missed double dip opportunity. Yeah, we love a double dip. I think that this is the season of double dipping, right? Feels like a Seinfeld episode. And yeah, I agreed with that. I love that they scored before the half. And I was thinking, okay, this is perfect. They get the ball back right after the half. Let's put the game out of reach. And they just couldn't get out of their way. The third quarter was just not a good quarter for them. They came through big they looked good in the first quarter. They looked pretty good in the second quarter. They were completely absent in the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter, they came back to life. So they're a good fourth quarter team. You guys were talking about slow starts. I think, Mike, you said that earlier, where this was actually not a slow start game for the Bills. And if there was one game to not have a slow start, it was this game. And I thought they looked good. So when the Bills came out in halftime, I felt that much more confident because I know they're a good late game team. So the fact that they could put together a good first half, that made me much more confident in the game. I love that they started off that way. So maybe I should put an honorable mention, Wall of Fame. Good start to the half for once. So yeah. All right. So hot takes from Bills Mafia. So this will be our last segment before the live giveaway of this Buffalo Bills Darryl Talley signed jersey. Let's see. Here, I'm going to share the screen for those of you that are watching live that aren't listening. All right, here we go. After every Bills game, I tweet out, the Bills win or lose. What is your hot take for the game? And yeah, if you have any more things that you'd like to share, this is the time to do it. Kev Rads says, come on over to Blue Sky. The water is nice. Got it done shorthanded. Too much Quentin Morris and Reggie Gilliam lined up outside. I like our odds if Samuel is a credible receiver and Mac is wide receiver 5. I have a Blue Sky account. I just never post on there or whatever. But maybe I will. I don't really do it on Threads either, to be honest. I don't have that kind of attention span to do many, but maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Tell us about Blue Sky. Should we be doing it?
Blue Sky is the next Twitter. It was made by I think the people who created Twitter. So after they sold Twitter, then they're like, oh, let's make another one. So
wait, could we do that? Like sell the podcast and then just do it again? It's not very capital intensive.
Sell what? Our account?
Yeah.
Yeah. We could sell a Twitter account.
No, sell this, whatever this is, sell it.
I would love to sell this. How much do you think we get for it? A nickel?
What are you talking about? That's the one. You just don't know your own greatness, Nate. That's the one knock on you.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I suffer. You're right. I don't realize how amazing I am. Thank you. That is one of my biggest flaws.
Your only one, some might say.
Oh, definitely my only one. I don't have many. Imposter syndrome. I say I have imposter syndrome. That's one of those things.
So we could sell it?
Sure. I don't care. I'll sell this. I don't give a shit. We just won't do it anymore.
No, bro.
Oh, I don't know what you're trying to sell. This live stream?
No, it's the exact same analogy. Just instead of Twitter, it's CTW, Circling the Wagons. You said they created Twitter, sold it. We did the same thing again.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what I'm saying. You sell Circle the Wagons 1 with all the ancillary stuff, and then you create Circling the Wagons 2. Call it Blue Circling the Wagons. Whatever.
It's like when they vote for dictators, it's like, red dictator versus blue dictator. It's the same exact guy. It's like red Vladimir Putin versus blue Vladimir Putin. I think I'm going to vote for red this year. Yeah. Circling the Wagons Part 2.
Think about it.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like how I didn't quite understand your exact analogy. And I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, we'll sell it. Like, it's fine. And you're like, no, you're not getting it. I was just like, I'll be done with this. I don't care. Big Mike says the Bills capitalized on the Chiefs' previous game's difficulties. Learning from others makes teams better. This win will help put them in first overall in the AFC come the end of the season. I like that. And now that's a big compliment from Big Mike, because he's usually, I don't want to say hard on the team, but he's definitely not like a rah follower. Like, he'll criticize them for not doing good, knowing Big Mike as long as I have. So yeah, is he
really
praise.
big? Is he really big?
You know what's funny?
Is it he's really small and it's ironic?
No, when we used to do Twitter Spaces more often after the game, Big R in SD would come on, and he's like, no, he's like, I'm a short guy. And then Big Mike would be like, Big Mike, are you also short? He's just like, no, I'm like 6'7". I'm like, okay.
Wow. Big.
Yeah. Because you can't be like just 6 foot and say you're Big Mike, right? Like, you got to be a little bit taller. Or like, it's ironic, like Big R, where it's like, oh, he's a shorter guy. Like, that's, I like both. Big Mike, I'm 6 foot, 0.5. Yeah, I mean, that's big compared to me, but it's not big.
Maybe I could be a Big Mike.
You are a Big Mike. Big John, Big Mike. You guys are about the same height. Well, could you also be, how come it's never fat? Like, it's like Big Mike. Like, no one ever asks how like big he is. He's like, no, I'm 5'10", but I weigh 350. I was like, oh, okay, that is big. You are a Big Mike then. It's never a weight thing. It's only a height thing. Christy M says the Bills are really good. The Bills are really good, and we will be even better when healthy. The bye is much needed. Sweet Sassy Molassy play the game was the Allen rushing touchdown. The Wall of Fame, McDermott, and aggressive play calling. Yes, Christy. Thank you. I love it. If Wall of Shame, if I have to pick, I guess Bass for the missed PAT. Could have been more of a factor. Rest up and on to the next. Yeah, it was tough. I was thinking about giving it to Bass, but he was pretty good the rest of the way out. Andrew Freeman says, hot take, this win doesn't feel as satisfying as previous years. Feels like there's still unfinished business. Yeah. It feels like the Bills are kind of treating it this way. Like, it's a big win, but it feels like it's more just like, yeah, that's kind of what we expected to do, as opposed to, I can't believe we beat them. He says, Sweet Sassy Molassy play the game. The Allen run on 4th and 2. Loved McDermott with the stones to go for it. Wall of Fame, the wide receiving core, all were great. Wall of Shame, early down runs. Wish Brady called less of them. Thank you. Andrew Freeman is not my burner account, by the way. That's I love all his takes, by the way. Not my burner account. Not my source either, unless maybe he is. Josh Allen's left arm says, hot take, this game was awesome, but doesn't give me any confidence the game will be the same in January. I think he's got a good point there. I don't think any of us, and Mike and John, let me know if you think any differently. I never thought even winning this game meant anything in January, but obviously a good way to see that, it's funny. Someone made this hype video that I shared on Instagram and social media and TikTok, whatever. And it was that scene from Batman versus Superman. And Batman's talking up to Superman, like Batman's the Buffalo Bills and Mahomes is Superman. He's like, Batman goes, I have a question. Do you bleed? And I think that was a perfect analogy for this game, because maybe we don't win in January, but at least the Chiefs are definitely not. They weren't 9-0 because they were absolutely amazing and just a juggernaut. They won because they had some luck in their way. They had some good calls go their way. They're a good team, but they're not unstoppable. Wall of Fame, he says the Bills pass rush. Wall of Shame, injury scares for Josh. That's a good one. That's a really good Wall of Shame. It feels like every week he lands on his wrist or his hand or his shoulder or something funny. Sweet Sassy Molassy play the game. The pick-off of Mahomes on the first drive. It set the tone, especially considering a touchdown soon followed. I did like that Sweet Sassy Molassy play the game. Hard to give it over the Josh Allen touchdown run, but I think he's going deep cut there. I like it. Matthew O'Mara says meaningless until the Bills get the job done in the playoffs. I don't want to say it's meaningless. It's not meaningless, but it's not nearly as meaningful as being them in the playoffs. I think we can agree on that, right? Charles Byrne, the Black Knight, Go Bills says, hot take, Samuel's touchdown catch. He ran across the field, stumbled, and still scored. Yeah, good call there. The Sweet Sassy Molassie play of the game. Josh Allen touchdown run, had contact with 5 defenders and still scored. He had contact with 5 defenders and didn't fall down, like until the very end when he crossed the plane. Wall of Fame, he says, defense getting to Mahomes multiple times. That's definitely something. I think Koala Bear mentioned that earlier. That's something we've definitely missed in previous games against the Chiefs, especially in the playoffs. Wall of Shame, can't pick one. Big R says, speaking of Big R, it says, what a great birthday gift. It's a happy birthday to Big R. Happy birthday, Big R. Hot take 1. It's never a reset year when you got Josh Allen and McDermott as coach of the year. He says, Sweet Sassy Molassie play of the game is the Josh 4th and down touchdown scramble. The Gettysburg of the game. We didn't mention the Gettysburg. Josh Allen 4th down touchdown scramble. Yeah. Gettysburg of the game. The play of the game that changes the course of the entire outcome. So he has that, both the Sweet Sassy Molassie and the Gettysburg game.
Taylor Rapp interception.
You think that was the
It dictated the whole game. Like I get they were down by a point at one point because of the missed best extra point, but the Bills went down and scored after that. I would never felt worrisome at all in this game.
Oh, I give you credit, John. I did not feel that way. I'm always worried personally, but
I was more worried about the Colts game than the Chiefs game, if that makes any sense.
yeah, that's fair.
Of the look ahead part of it.
I can see that a little bit. I'm too worried though that Mahomes is always going to come back. I have too much PTSD from Brady being in our division that I think that's always going to happen. You're right. If it wasn't for that Bass mixed extra point, they would have never been down the entire game at all. Just thinking of Gettysburg play the game, this might sound inconsequential, but I feel like it mattered in the team's momentum and the way that they viewed the game was when the refs blatantly missed that face mask penalty on Chris Jones right before the end of the half. I feel like the Bills kind of came out on fire after that. I felt like they were trying a little bit harder. They had a little bit more passion. Or maybe I'm thinking of, it was either that play or the one where, remember Dorian Williams got like blocked down by that Chiefs offensive lineman like 10 seconds after the play, and they called a penalty on the Chiefs offensive lineman, and then the Bills players were trying to, throw him off Dorian Williams. I feel like maybe that was the play I'm thinking of. That it felt like the Bills were kind of played pissed off after that.
You know what I think? I think the Bills have a real good shot at the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Looking at the schedule, right? Let's look at look at the Bills first. Bills.
Yeah.
Okay. 49ers. Oh, they have bye week, then the 49ers, after the 49ers play the Packers. And the 49ers are home. And they're like, what, 500?
Yep.
So, a lot of things going our way. That Rams in LA, that could be a iffy game, but we're better, right?
Mm-hmm. I still give us a better chance to win that game, yes.
Then in Detroit.
That's going to be a tough one.
That's a tough one. That could be a Super Bowl matchup, potentially.
Preview, yeah.
But let's say they lose that one. And then they get New England, the Jets, and New England. Right? Now let's look at the Chiefs schedule. Carolina. Okay. They got that. Raiders, they probably got that. But then there's a lot of iffy games. Chargers, either way. Browns, maybe. Houston, Pittsburgh, Detroit. Pittsburgh, Detroit are both away games. Not Detroit, sorry. Denver. I said Detroit. Pittsburgh, Denver at the end of the season. Away games. Bills could get the 1 seed still. Tiebreaker. All they got to do is, tie Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
So that's possible. If anything, they're pretty much locked into the number 2 seed, looking at the remaining schedule. But
yeah, if it was, I thought I was really excited when you said the Chiefs had to play the Detroit.
Yeah, I saw the DE and I just went to Detroit, but Denver. I mean, it's a divisional game. They have a good defense. Bo Nix is playing good. Like
that game's in Denver too. It's not in KC
right.
like the last one was, where they barely won.
Yeah, the last 2 games are away, so you don't know.
Yeah, all we need is, like you said, the same record.
Yeah, I mean, we could also slip to the third seed because Pittsburgh is playing really well, but they still got like the whole division to play still, minus the game they played today. So, but it's looking good. Like they're good. They just got to make sure they get healthy at the right positions and stay healthy.
100%. The health, I think, is the key to this season and to the major players. Matt Milano did come back on the 21-day practice window, which my source, by the way, I'll break this on the podcast only before I do it on social media. The source I've been talking to says he will be playing by the 49ers game after the bye. Technically, he doesn't have to play until the Rams game, but the source says he'll definitely play for the 49ers game in a couple of weeks. So that's exciting. So looking forward to getting him back. I'm sure it'll be on like a snap count. I don't think that they're going to play him all, like 80, 90% of the snaps like they normally do. I think he'll probably come in for maybe 20%, maybe if that, in like a limited role until he gets back up to speed,
You think that, or your source says that?
That's me talking. The source did not have a comment on the play percentage. That's me using my deductive reasoning.
Just double checking.
Dude, I love Dorian Williams. I think he's playing well. I think now they finally have a third linebacker they can throw on the field if they have to, which is nice.
I mean, with Bernard being healthy, that's huge in and of itself. And if Milano needs an extra week or two to be good for the playoffs, I'm willing to have him sit,
Oh, yeah. Be conservative. Yeah. But they have to bring him up to the active roster. So they don't have to play him necessarily, but he has to be on the active roster, which means that they have to cut someone or bring someone off. So Big R didn't finish it. He said Wall of Fame, Curtis Samuel. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Curtis Samuel. Yeah, I give it to him for just being involved for once after they paid him, $8 million a year. So Wall of Shame, the bye week. Oh, yeah, it's going to be weird connecting with my family again in the bye week, not having anything to do. But yeah, that's a really good one. All right, a couple more before we end this one. Hot take, and we do the giveaway. Hot take, these are the types of games missing last year, and this might be the way to get us to the Super Bowl. Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. Chad Labrie says offense and defense came out of the gate on the gas and showed up in all four quarters. Huge win. I swear Chad isn't my burner. I swear he's not my burner. Huge win going into the bye week. Let the boys rest up and take on the rest of the teams on the schedule. Happy Victory Monday and go Bills. Wall of Fame, Josh Allen for the final nail. Very good call. You can tell he's not my burner because he uses a lot of exclamation points. And I feel like I need to bring a little bit more energy on the podcast than just to live up to those exclamation points. So Steve Leonard says Bass is still number one. Bass is still a liability. True. Number two, need more creativity on first down offensively. Absolutely true. Number three, defense had a great game plan and execution. And number four, Josh Allen is the MVP. It's hard to make an argument of who is better than him for that. Jason Statham says, my hot take is Bobby Babich is the man and Josh Allen is not human. That's good. Bill Lasso says, I'm convinced Josh Allen could build the pyramids with a 99-cent store shovel and a pail. What could he not do? AJ Tharp says his hot take is Mahomes looks like Sinbad in Jingle All the Way with that giant helmet he wears. Nice to hear he didn't cry to Josh after the game like he did last year. Oh, it's so funny. Someone brought up a really good point on Twitter where they said, the Chiefs get so many plays in their favor. And the one time that they don't last year, and the play was actually correctly called, they didn't stop whining and complaining about it. It's just like they're kind of like the spoiled trust fund kids of the NFL at this point. They're used to things going their way. They get all mad and they want to call daddy when there's the slightest bit of resistance in anything they do. You know who my dad is? You know who Roger Goodell is? I'm going to have him talk to you. He's going to sue you. Let's see. Carol March says big dub goes Bills. And yeah, JT Sampaio, even with some obvious bad missed calls, they still overcame. All right. Those were some hot takes from Bills Mafia. I missed this, honestly. Koala Bear Khan, last comment, says they'll have Milano on the Trey White plan, 2 series 1 week, then a quarter the next, then a whole half. Yeah, that's probably a good call. That's probably what will happen. So we're going to do our Daryl Talley signed jersey giveaway. I have it somewhere. Oh, it's down here on the ground. Come on. It's not like this is a live show or anything. Come on. All right.
On the ground. What are you
On the
doing?
ground. Well, it's all in plastic. Don't worry. It's all in plastic. It's a plastic cover. But still, my basement's not super clean. But anyway, so signed Bill's jersey. And this was going to go to someone that left us a review on Apple Podcasts through listening platform. Or if you leave us one on Spotify, you just screenshot it and let me know. Also, if you comment.
Does it come with a certificate of authenticity?
What kind of 2-bit operation do you take me for, Mike? Of course it's got one from...
Because I see a Sharpie in your background.
This plastic is just like a Ziploc bag. It's not sealed or anything. There definitely is a certificate of authenticity. I think it's in between the... It's like JSA or one of those things, you know?
Yeah.
Funny.
It's probably in between.
In between the jersey being folded somewhere. Oh, wait. There's a little hologram that says Playball Inc. Authentic Autograph 15904.
What does that mean?
That's the serial number.
Okay.
Of what it was.
It sounds like Nate authenticated it, so we're good.
It's authentic, and my sources are just trust me, bro. Yeah, so the winner of that, all you had to do is leave a 5-star review and leave a comment on Facebook or YouTube there as well for the people that do the live stream, the video feed. And yeah, so I'm going to share it with those. And these are also from the people that left a review last year when we were doing this. So if you didn't have to do that again, if you've already done it. So let me see. Let me share.
Am I eligible to win?
No, you are not. No, you're not. Sorry. So here, I'm going to share my entire screen. Okay. It's probably like 50 or 60 people here. So now that you can see that I'm doing this completely random. Josh Lane is the winner. Josh Lane. I believe Josh actually commented on this podcast. So he might be listening live. And no, that was Joey Hatch. Get them confused. Joey Hash. So Josh Lane. Josh, if you are listening to the podcast now or watching us, DM us over Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, social media, whatever, and let us know, or email us ctwpod@gmail.com and let us know that you won, and I will get that over to you. I also have some cool stuff to give away as well. You think I would be more organized and ready for that, but I am not. Luckily we did a small partnership with Tito's Vodka, and they gave us some really cool merch. So some of that stuff I'm going to keep, but I will give away a lot of it because it's just cool stuff like a football and, Tito's jersey and stuff like that. So there will be stuff to give away for the rest of the year. I'm going to keep doing giveaways each week until they're all gone, till all my stuff is gone that I want to get rid of. So keep staying tuned for that. Thank you guys all for listening. Appreciate you guys being a part of this victory episode. The Bills are 9-2. They're going into the bye week. They're going to get healthier. They're going to get better. They're going to get hungrier. This is a great time to be a Bills fan. Any final thoughts, John or Mike, before we end this one?
No, huge win.
Huge win. All right, great. Thank you guys all again for listening. Signing off for John.
Go Bills. This is your year. Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Mike?
Go Bills.
And for me, Nate, go Bills. This feels so sweet. And we'll talk to you guys on the bye week. Go Bills.
Wait, we have to do the bye week?
Thank you for listening to the Circling the Wagons podcast. Download and subscribe to us in your favorite podcast service. Email us at ctwpod@gmail.com. That's Charlie Tango Whiskey Pod@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at CTWPod. And most importantly, go Bills!
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, Nate.
Well, listen, the whole show is called Circling the Wagons. Say no more. I love it.